you for being here, Dino. I'm going to jump right into it. So, what made you want to pursue music professionally, and what continues to inspire you today?
Well, if I think back to where the flame started for me, it was really that feeling of just being around. When music ever happened in my life growing up, there was always a feeling of connection, a feeling of celebration, joy, and then the desire to sing, to play, to create music was always there. I don't think there was a conscious moment where I thought, oh, gee, that'd be nice to do that. It was just kind of there. And so I think my evolution as an artist was just organic in that way. Really it was about coming together, playing music with friends. So growing up at school, I've always associated music with just having a great time. And I think now today, as I've evolved, it's still the key driving force for me. If it doesn't feel like there's a coming together through the music, then it feels like a disconnect for me. So that's really at the core of it all.
Definitely, and I can definitely tell, like, you have your entire setup behind you. It looks awesome. So, can you tell me a little bit about how you found your mojo and kind of established it over the years? And then also maybe define mojo to me.
Wow, that's the elusive question. I mean, God, if you know the answer to that, can you let me know? That look, really, I think the key thing for me has been to try to come to terms with my truth over the years. I'm sort of naturally a very shy person, and I've had to, then getting thrown up in front of a band, performing in front of an audience, and by default, unfortunately, if you're a singer, you're seen as the front man, and all I wanted to do was be like a guitar player or a drummer. I just wanted to sing. I didn't really have, I was too shy to speak to the audience and all that kind of stuff. So I had to kind of get over myself with all that and come out of my shell. And that was part of my growth as an artist, because I think when you write music, the same thing kind of happens. You have to kind of get to that point where you've got to expose something of yourself to really connect with people. So really, the mojo for me is like, what is it about you that kind of makes you shine? That when someone else sees you, they go, oh wow, I'm feeling something. And to me, that's the mojo. It's like when you kind of get a sense from someone else, like there's something really natural and real about what they're projecting. And through music, it's those moments of joy. I think when you see an artist just completely let go of everything and just lose themselves in what they're doing, you're seeing mojo in action, I think.
Yeah, I love that. And I could never tell just from talking to you that you were a shy or introverted person. So that's amazing.
It's all a facade, yeah.
So I read your bio a little bit, and you talked about how you've been spending a lot of time at home and how that's kind of influenced your recent music. So what has a typical day kind of look like for you? And can you talk to me a little bit about the projects that you've been working on?
Yeah, look, when everything changed, most probably around February this year, March, everything, the reality started kicking in. Actually, this is not just like a moment in time. This is changing the world at the moment for all of us. And so, in the background, you can see this is my man cave. So I've been blessed, to have my own space at home where I could isolate. When we were all in isolation and I lost all the shows for the rest of the year and all that kind of stuff, I was fortunate that I've got this space at home. And so for me, I immediately retreated to my man cave here. And in the ideal world, when you're writing music, you want to be really, you want to be left alone. You don't want to be distracted. You just want to be able to lose yourself and see how many of the muses come for a visit to see if they're in a playful mood with you. And for me, I kind of lost myself in this room for a while, and I started to record myself performing some songs that I'd never shared with anybody before. something I'd never done before, and I most probably wouldn't have done if I wasn't put in this kind of situation. And I started recording and sharing some video footage from here of songs, as I've mentioned, that I'd never shared with anybody before publicly. And it was the first time I'd ever done anything like that. Because as artists, you know, I don't know, you know, most of us, you know, we want everything to sound perfect. You know, so we go in the studio and, you know, it's got to be right. There's, you know, there's all these takes and stuff. So all of a sudden, you know, to put yourself in a situation where it's, let's just catch a moment in real, that, you know, something that's real and happening right now. That was something I had to confront, and again, let go of, just get over yourself and just like, this is who you are. Just share that with people, and don't feel awkward about that. And that's part of the growth, I think. That's certainly been the growth for me, and I think that's an important growth factor for all artists, is to constantly shed more of themselves. And I think the more of those layers you peel off, you get to really experience a real person. And with music, you know, that's what we're trying to project, is, you know, the soul and the music of who we are. I think, I'm not sure if I answered your original question. I think I might have digressed a bit. But, you know, this has been my experience in the last, you know, most probably 6 months now, after losing all the shows and just connecting again with writing. And in many ways, this has changed my life, because not being able to perform live is something that none of us ever considered would ever be an option. And really, it forced me to focus on what I actually have always aspired to as my greatest drive, which is to connect with people all over the world with my music. That's always been my driving force. And the way for me to do that is through writing and recording. And so it got me back into being in alignment with who I truly am as an artist. And to then also work out, okay, well, if you can't perform live and you can't work with other producers and all that kind of stuff at the moment, how are you going to share that music and connect with people? And so then for the first time, I got into really the video style of releasing music. So I released songs that I weren't available anywhere but other on a video. So that was a new experience for me. But really what was the key turning point for me was when I invited some of my supporters, not only here in Australia, but from overseas, that have been supporting my music, to record a snippet of themselves on video and come and join me in the music video for one of my songs. And that was an incredibly joyful experience for me, because it kind of ticked all the boxes in terms of really what I aspire for, which is how do you engage music? How do you engage with your audience? You know, with your music. And for me, it was like the ultimate engagement, because these people had recorded themselves dancing to a section of my song that hadn't been released yet, and then it got put into my music video, and when it got shared for the first time, we all celebrated it together. So it was a really incredible moment for me, and it's changed my life in many ways. And now the song, a song called Can't Keep Still, which is the song I'm promoting at the moment, you know, that started the fire for that song, which was awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. I was actually just reading about your single and how you actually were a big part of the production process. How has that kind of differed from your typical in the studio style?
Yeah, well, this is the first time I released a single, like just basically it was all recorded in this room behind me. So I had started the bed of the music a little while ago, and then when I started working on recording it for a release, we weren't in full lockdown, so we could have social distancing still was happening at the time in Australia. So one by one, I got the other guys that I got to record into the studio, and we just recorded the bits, you know, with the bass player and just myself, and then the drummer came in, and then the keyboard player. So that was kind of how we did this process. And then I produced everything here myself, did the backing vocals and all that kind of stuff. And normally, you know, I would have gone somewhere else to do a lot of this stuff. I would have just done the pre-production here. In other words, I would have shelled out the song and just got the guide stuff down, and then most probably would have gone and worked with another producer. It's good to get some objectivity, with music, and working with other people is a key aspect of that, particularly a producer who's trying to sort of make sure that the vision that you've got and it kind of gets across the line. So, but that was all taken away, and it was just basically myself wearing all those hats, and then with the footage that came in from other people that they shot themselves on video, then it all got sent back to me. So that was a unique experience. But the clincher for me was like, when I actually put the word out about inviting people to record a snippet of themselves on video, what they actually received from me was like a 1 minute sample of the song, and it wasn't finished yet. I didn't give them anything with my vocal on it. I wanted that to be a surprise. I just gave them the groove, the bed, like the rhythm bed that I was working on, so that I knew that if they were dancing to that, it was going to work with the music video. And what really took me back was when I actually got all the video footage back from everybody. Like, people sent me quite a bit of stuff, and I didn't know, like, I had never actually worked with video before, so it was a whole new experience for me. Like, all of a sudden, it's like, oh, all right, now what do I do with all this? So it was a very painful process, actually, to be honest with you. Like, just putting the whole video together. I don't think I've ever been so challenged in my life, because again, video is not my background. It's not something I've never had to deal with, and so if anyone that does watch the video, if they find it for Can't Keep Still, I produced that video using a program called DaVinci, and look, it's rough as guts, if you know what I mean. Like, it's if I gave that footage to a professional video person, it most probably would have lost something in the translation. And I think one of the things that makes it work is the fact that someone like myself, who knows absolutely nothing about video, put it together and kept it real. And it's just real people, and so, I've got video, some people send me video from their phone in vertical view, some send it in horizontal view, some people send me footage in all sorts of different resolutions, and it was a logistical nightmare trying to work out how and what to do with it. So, that was an interesting journey, and so to be at the other end of it, where it actually was finished and it got released, was like it was such a relief, and it was just a joy to watch it all, kind of everyone sort of come together at the end of all that.
That's incredible, especially since we haven't even been in quarantine for that long, I feel like. So the fact that you learned how to do all those things in such a short amount of time is really great. So I kind of wanted to ask, and this can be applied to your single or your music career, but if you could go back and do it all over again, would you do anything differently?
Yeah. Look, I'm very grateful for the lessons I've learned in life, but most probably the key thing I think that would make the biggest difference to anybody, and particularly new artists kind of kicking off, is get someone on board that really believes in what you're doing as early as possible in your career. And it just, for me, I've had to learn a lot of stuff the long, hard way, like just trying to do it all myself. And it's very draining when you're trying as an independent artist, when you're wearing so many hats. So, the thing is, as early as possible, get a team together that that you can work with. That would be my biggest thing. Like, for me, if I was going to look back, as to get people early on that really believe in and just really kind of just keep you on track. Because if you're kind of working independently on your own, it's very easy to kind of just drift off in certain directions, and you don't really notice yourself doing it because you're kind of in the flow of it all. And and then all of a sudden, a year or two later, you go, oh wow, how did I end up here? Oh, let's go back to what it's really about, and then you're kind of doing this dance, So, but when you've got someone outside of yourself who's kind of working with you and understands what you're really going for, it's like every now and then they go, hey, little tap on the shoulder. Let's get back on that. So yeah, that's kind of most probably the biggest thing for me is like, someone, on a management kind of role that's really trying to help you stay on track. Yeah.
That's awesome and wonderful advice.